Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome. Welcome to each of you. We're delighted to have you here. And this is Renewed Vitality. And I'm going to go through a little bit more about Renewed Vitality. We're here tonight to talk about losing weight and feeling great. And hopefully that's what you all came to hear about. And because most people want to lose weight and want to feel great. And the two can go together. It's amazing how that can happen. So we have a unique treatment package at Renewed Vitality. It is a physician supervised weight loss management. It's called the Vitality Diet. And yes, it does have to be supervised by a doctor, okay? And it is approved by the FDA. And hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people across the United States and across the world have done this diet since the 1950s, if you can believe that. So it's a very popular diet. And the results are remarkable. A woman can lose 20 to 35 pounds in 6 weeks. Yes. And you're going to hear about how it's losing the fat that you want to lose and not muscle. Okay. And remarkably, men that get on the diet actually tend to lose more. They go from, and these results are typical. I have the slide on here that says, you know, in medicine, nobody can guarantee anything and the lawyers have to get involved and all that. But we know what we see in our clinic, and the before and after pictures and the results that we get are really quite remarkable. So, and we, yes, have had patients. Now, you don't lose 100 pounds in 6 weeks, okay? That doesn't happen. So, but what happens is they're on the diet for 6 weeks. They go on transition for 3 weeks. They go off the diet for 3 weeks, but they don't start, binging on carbs and sugar and everything else. They, are very conservative, and they learn the things that we taught them on the diet, and that keeps them on a good conservative but a good healthy diet, very satisfying diet when they're back to a more normal diet. Then after 12 weeks, they can start over again. And in 3 rounds, we've had people that have lost 100 pounds. So in a year's time. And believe me, if you think that, for most people, losing 20 to 35 pounds can be life-changing, think of the people that have lost 100 pounds. That really is a serious change of life, and change of health. So, and then, of course, it's important not just to lose the weight, but to keep it off, right? How many people and how many diets are out there that lost the weight and it came back, lost the weight and it came back? The diets will always be out there because people will always be eating, and generally, oftentimes the weight does come back. So we'll talk to you about that as well. Now, we're also going to talk about bioidentical hormone replacement for men and women. And the reason this is so important is because it has so much to do with gaining and losing weight. So, and people don't think about that much, but your hormones, your thyroid, the male and female hormones, they have so much to do with getting to the root cause of weight loss and weight gain, all right? And then you should know that it's one of the safest, easiest, and also really one of the least expensive diets you can do on the market today. So, let's see, did this do what I wanted to do? Yeah, so anyway, we're doing this in conjunction with Abrams Rural Pharmacy because we love them, and and because they are the inventors of a cream that allows you, probably, I don't know what percentage, 80, 90%, some high percentage of people take injections for this, daily injections, or they have to go somewhere to get a shot every day to do this diet. So there's some people that do drops. Most of those people get it over the internet. They're selling it to you illegally. And so if you're getting a drug illegally, you got to question about how safe it is and about the source of it, right? That would generally be my thoughts on that. So getting this cream through Abrams Royal Pharmacy is really a dream. It's a great product. I've used it myself. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. Now, in addition to the weight loss management, we do bioidentical hormone replacement for men and women, and this is another area where people get their lives back. Okay, and for any woman going through the change, any woman in her 40s or later, this is very important. And men, it's important for men too. Andropause is something that's real, and it's kind of a slippery slide. You don't really know that you're on it until you're getting down towards the bottom of the slide, and then you say, wait a second, there's something that maybe needs to be done here. So age management, no, we can't stop people from aging, but sometimes we can actually turn back the clock a bit to make you feel much better than you feel right now, and we can slow down the clock a little bit. So, and we can make you feel better longer. Sleep therapy, I don't know how many people I've talked to, and in sessions like this where we've had a bigger room, big room full of people, and I ask people, raise your hand if you have trouble sleeping. Seems like always over half the people in the room raise their hand that they have trouble sleeping. And so that's a symptom of something else that's going on, and we try to get to the root cause of that. Body detox, we're going to talk a little bit about that in conjunction with how it works with losing weight. And then some patients, they're beyond, it's beyond male or female hormones, it's beyond detox, it's beyond their thyroid. They have either just really serious chronic fatigue, where they can hardly get out of bed, or they can't even go to work the day, or chronic pain with fibromyalgia. We treat that also here, and we're one of the few clinics that do. And then chronic viral syndromes. So a lot of people don't realize that that's a real thing, and that it also can be treated, and you can feel much better because it is treated. Okay? So Dr. Spurlock is our medical director, and he actually helped design this program, and basically he was originally working with Lark on it, and it was mostly women, and they were coming to him and they said, Dr. Spurlock, you helped me feel better, but I still got this weight on. Can you help me, now I feel better, can you help me look better? And so this diet that you're going to hear about today is what he came up with, again, working with Lark and doing some studies on it, and doing it himself. Yes. So Dr. Scott, it's a kind of an interesting story with her. She was a little skeptical of the diet at the beginning, and so we did one of these seminars with her and her patients in her office over in Las Colinas, and then she tried the diet on herself, and she lost the weight, and everybody's telling her how good she looks, for months now. And she is telling all her friends and all her patients, and Elise has been very busy over there doing the diet with the Las Colinas patients, the patients of Dr. Scott. So, and of course, Elise Lewis, you're going to hear from later today, and we are just so delighted to have Elise with us. She is very bright and very capable, and did great in school, and I could tell you lots of wonderful things about Elise, but I'll just wait till later to embarrass her more, okay? So, and then we also have another nurse practitioner, Roxana Kokos, and she came to us, and she's done the diet as well, with good results. So, and she actually is, she is one of those, and I guess Elise falls into this, all of our providers really fall in the category of they never can get quite enough knowledge. They're constantly wanting to learn more, constantly wanting to gain more information, and that's what got them into this, because what they learned in standard of care medicine and in medical school was not enough for them, even when they went out and practiced. So they wanted to learn more, and that's what got them into integrative medicine, and which includes this type of a diet. So what if you could lose weight quickly, keep it off, weigh less, and have more health, energy, happiness, joy, and zest for life? Would that be a good thing? Would you like to have that life? I'd like to have that life, and to some degree I do. So what you're going to learn today, you're going to learn how to lose the weight, keep it off, be healthier and happier. And with our HCG, there's no injections. It's a really great thing. We're going to get to the root cause of the challenges, your challenges individually with weight gain, and talk about how we can help you keep it off. And so, has anybody here ever tried to lose weight before? Everybody's kind of nodding or laughing or smiling. So, other diet programs, maybe they failed you in one way or the other. So maybe you failed them, I don't know. But sometimes weight loss is slow. If you're only going to lose a few pounds a month, how many birthday parties are there? How many holidays are there? How many other things? How many vacations do you have? You know, how many ball games are there? All these things that happen, that it's tough to be consistent for so long if the weight loss is slow. What if the cost is high? What if there's a lot of prepackaged foods you're supposed to eat? And gosh, this ends up being $1,000 a month. It's hard to keep that up. So, and what if it's time consuming, you know, to do the regimen and to keep that up for a long period of time? And, you know, what if you regained the weight after the diet? Say you did lose 15 or 20 pounds, maybe more, but they never got to the root cause of why you gained the weight to begin with. You were never tested for your thyroid, never tested for a hormonal imbalance. They never really looked at what's inside of your gastrointestinal tract to see what's going on with your digestion. And what if you just went back to your old habits? So all those things have to be addressed. And then it's tough to do it just all by yourself. So it's great to have a support group. We have support groups within Renewed Vitality. And it's difficult to change the eating habits of family and friends. We have a few tricks that'll help you do that, okay? And there's probably other reasons that you can think of. So anyway, I had a boss one time tell me, you can get it good, you can get it fast, and you can get it cheap. Pick 2 out of 3. Well, what we're telling you is you can get it good, you can get it fast, and you can get really an excellent value. And we've already talked about this. We're going to learn more about losing that stubborn fat and how we get to the root cause. I'm going to talk to you about the financial part of it as well. And so everybody's going to leave here today knowing all about, you know, what was insurance cover, what won't insurance cover, what you cover, and how, you know, how do you pay for this, okay? And then personal to you, this is really important because we want to get of what works for you. And then we do coaching. It's different than standard coaching. It's not, you know, you don't weigh in once a week and get sold a lot of products from kind of a cheerleader. You're going to weigh yourself every day, and you're going to know what you weigh. And if you go more than a day or 2 or even 3, if you get to 3 days, you better call us, and we're going to get you back on track, losing weight. So you don't want to lose time, because that's why you got into this program. So usually I say 2 days, and then if you're stuck at one weight, we want to get you moving again. So you call us, we'll help you. We actually have cooking classes, teach you how to cook for this kind of diet. We have a recipe book as well. And It is it's just a great system. Now, we have to put this up here. We don't guarantee specific results, and even though typical loss is this, individual results will vary, okay? So, and you gotta know this, any deviation from the Vitality diet will decrease the amount of weight loss. So that's one of the first things Elise will ask you, okay? Did you eat something that is not on the diet plan? And if the answer is yes, then shame on you. And yes, you probably lost 3 or 4 days of, weight loss. So, and with that, I would be delighted to turn it over to the inventor of the HCG cream.
The inventor.
And from Abrams Rural Pharmacy, Lark Swafford.
Thank you. I haven't had my hug. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, guys. Welcome again. Well, my name is Lark, and yeah, I guess I am the inventor of the cream. But let me kind of tell you my story on how we got here. So a little bit about what HCG is. It stands for human chorionic gonadotropin, and this hormone shows up during pregnancy. So it's actually known as a pregnancy hormone. When we do the pregnancy test and we pee on the strip to see if we get, 1 line or 2 lines or says yes or no or however they have them now, it's looking for the HCG hormones. So we girls get that when we're pregnant. Guys don't get that. But this is how it works. When and Dr. Simeons figured this out several years ago, back in the 50s, and we'll get into his story in a sec. But when a woman is pregnant, the body is going to take care of that baby come hell or high water. And the way it does that is through HCG. So even if the mom is in a starvation type situation where she's not getting the nutrients she needs to feed herself, the fat that she has is what the baby's going to feed off of. And HCG unlocks that fat and feeds it to the baby. Now, when we do this with that very specific renewed vitality diet, we're not pregnant, so that's not where the fat's going. The fat is literally being flushed away. So the body is, or the HCG is unlocking that fat that we can't get to, and we're losing it to the tune of about a ½ pound to a pound a day. The way that it works basically is when the government says we're supposed to have 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day, HCG compels the body to burn about 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day just by not doing anything. But we need to eat something, otherwise our body kind of goes in this weird starvation kind of a mode. So we're going to eat, and don't freak out, 500 calories a day. All right, now Lisa's going to go through the types of food, and if you put all the food together that you're going to eat during a day, it's quite a bit of food. But when we think about 500 calories, we're thinking it's like this. Now 500 calories is quite a bit of food, okay? 1 breadstick from Olive Garden is 300 to 350 calories. Just saying. So Dr. Simeons, born in 1900 and passed away in 1970, and a very, very intelligent man. He has a doctorate in endocrinology with high honors from the University of Heidelberg, Germany. Awarded the Red Cross Order of Merit from the School of Tropical Medicine in Hamburg, Germany for advancements made in treatment for malaria and other tropical diseases. So he's no dummy. He gets it. He understands the endocrinology. But when he was practicing in India in about 1930-31, this is when he noticed that these women that were in almost these starvation type situations were giving birth to happy, healthy, pudgy babies. He's like, well, how is this happening? When the world around them is in a starvation type situation, how are these babies being born fat and healthy? Well, he put his endocrinology hat on and he figured out it's the HCG. This is what's doing it. Now, he also noticed that some of these kids growing up, and he called them the fat boys of India. And of course, you always do experimentation on boys instead of girls because we girls might be a touch hormonal. Okay, boys really don't go through a lot of that. Now, they go through it just from the backside because they have to put up with us, but So we do a lot of experimentation on the guys. So he noticed these boys, and they had like the fat pads right here at the clavicle. They had the fat pads at the knees. They had, they were basically just obese boys eating a mostly vegetarian diet. And they're thinking, well, okay, how is this happening? So he said, all right, we're going to use these kids as my experimentation. So he got them on the HCG injections. The injections were with the needle that was an inch long. Sorry, that was an inch and a half. That's mean. An inch long, right into the muscle. And he would do these injections every day on these kids. And he figured out the diet that would work. And these boys were losing about 1 pound of fat per day. They weren't losing muscle. They were losing the fat, the toxins, and the water. And that's what they needed to lose. He published a book called Pounds and Inches, A New Approach to Obesity in 1954. Huge resurgence in this since about the 70s, and even probably was it been about 10, 11, 12 years ago. There was a book that came out that said the title was How to Lose a Pound a Day. When that book came out, I literally had 10-ish women either come in wagging the book at me saying, how do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know, I'd like to know myself. And I had some women call me and say, hey, I've heard about this new diet. What do you think of it? So I called my husband. I said, honey, can you go grab me this book? I need to read it real quick. So he brings me the book, and I flip. And it's a book. I mean, it's about this thick, right? Flip, 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 flip. Okay, the first half of the book was how wonderful the author was. Finally get to the point where he's talking about doing a detox. I'm like, I'm all about doing a detox. We can't do anything healthy for ourselves if we're full of toxins. So he's talking about doing a detox for about 30-ish days. I'm like, I'm on board with that. Read through that, and then he got to the HCG protocol. And it was at that point I had my aha moment. I was like, wait a minute. I know a doctor that was doing this, and he was trying to tell me about it. And this man was like 6'4", okay? Big guy, linebacker big, right? So he's saying, hey, Lark, I've got this great diet. I'm doing these injections, and I'm eating 500 calories a day. Okay, I heard injections and 500 calories, and I tuned him out. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. So here's this big man with this itty bitty plate of food. I'm like, that just looks wrong. Well, then once I finally read Dr. Simeon's original research, I'm like, now I get it. Now I get the science behind this. So called a doctor friend of mine. This is before Dr. Spurlock and I had connected on this, but I called a doctor friend of mine and said, look, I want to do this. Can I experiment on myself? And he goes, there's no harm in this. Do it. Let's see what happens. So then I talked to my daddy. He owns the pharmacy. And I said, Daddy, can I borrow $10,000? And he's like, honey, I love you, but we're not going that far. How about I'll loan you about $2,000. We'll see how far that goes. And I said, fair enough. That's great. So I started ordering in the ingredients and started, putting my chemistry hat on, trying to figure all this stuff out. Well, lucky for Daddy, I figured this out within that first $2,000, so that was pretty cool. But I was monkeying around with the cream. I was monkeying around with the formula, and I played around with the diet. And when I tell you that you cannot cheat on this diet, you can't cheat on the diet. My kids, when I first went through this, were about this age, 6, 7, 8-ish. And one day they said, hey, Mom, can we go to Chuck E. Cheese? And I'm like, hey, if you guys can run around and we get a good night's sleep tonight, I'm all for it. So off to Chuck E. Cheese we went. I thought, all right, let's put this to the test. I had 2 pieces of pizza and a soda. Kids are running around. Stomach's kind of feeling funny because, I've been on the diet for about a couple of weeks and now I've got junk food on me. Anyway, so the next morning I wake up and I'm like, we'll see. Stepped on that scale and I was 2 pounds heavier. I was upset. No, I was upset then. I was even upset 7 days later because I hadn't lost anything else for 7 days. So yeah, I lost a week by eating 2 pieces of pizza and a soda. So don't cheat. So the way this works is that there is a gland in the brain. It kind of sits right about, if you could pinpoint it, right about here. It's called the hypothalamus. And it modulates pretty much everything. It helps modulate the thyroid, the adrenals, fat storage, and metabolic rate. This is what HCG resets. if we can reset the metabolic rate, and if we can reset how our bodies store that fat, okay, we're halfway there. That's pretty awesome. So, okay, we talked about that. The big book, 2007. Yes, okay, so 11 years ago. Got the book, read the book, and I say I trashed the book because I'm not a big fan of the author. I really didn't trash it. I gave it to Half Price Books because I know the family. So if y'all ever have books to buy or donate, Half Price Books is the way to go. So I found that original research, and then I developed that cream because, like I said, Dr. Simeon's original protocol used the injections. Okay, you come at me with a needle, and I want to run screaming like a little girl. I hate needles with a passion. So that's when I was like, I've got to be able to turn this into a cream. I can get hormones through the skin. This is just another hormone. So I just figured out how to do that. And I became #1 patient. So we call it HCG-LQ. LQ tells me what secret formula that base is in. And we found out if you have about 20 pounds to lose, we're going to need 40 plus applications. So we'll need a full 15 ml. So if we only have half of that to lose, then we can cut that back. So there's either a 6-week protocol or a 3-week protocol. It does like to be in the fridge, so I'll tell people keep it next to the butter that we're not going to eat for the next 6 weeks. Everything will be fine. It's kind of like that, remember that, I think it was a Yoplait commercial, maybe just some kind of a yogurt commercial, and every day she's eating her yogurt, walking by her bikini. Yeah, that's what we're doing with this and the butter. So here's what it is going to come into you looking like. Okay, it's only going to be filled about halfway, but that's going to get you through 40 days. A little more because, you know, I love you, and we'll put an extra squirt or 2 in there. This is so easy to do, y'all. Sound like Paula Deen. This is so easy to do, y'all. All right, so you're going to take your pump. You're going to put 1 pump under your wrist. It's about that size, right? Going to rub your wrist. There's nothing in here. I'm not putting on medication, all right? You're going to rub your wrists together. Now, women, how many of you have angel wings? Okay, I am not biologically related to my grandmother, but I inherited her angel wings, apparently. Do this above your head, 30 seconds, and you're going to start feeling a burn right here. So just get your 30-second angel wing workout going, and everything is fine. Just rub it in. It goes in pretty quick, and then you're on with your day. So there's actually 3 different types of fat. The structural fat is the regular fat that we have that is around our organs that kind of acts like a natural bubble wrap. It keeps it from bumping into things, keeps it protected. And then we have something called the normal fat reserves. And this is kind of like if you look at a well-marbled steak, okay, that's where this is hiding out. That is used for energy. When we've gone through all of our glucose, we start using our fats. Okay, well, that's the fat that we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to that marbled fat. That's pretty easy to get to with diet and weight loss, or diet and exercise. The problem comes with this abnormally stored fat. And especially as we start, I hate saying getting older, as we age like a fine wine, we tend to hold on to fat in places that we never held on to it before. Okay, so we're looking belly, tush, and thighs. So HCG goes in and unlocks that fat, because I have talked to so many hormonally, what I call hormonally depraved women. I'm now one of those that say, okay, my diet's not changing, my exercise isn't changing, and I'm gaining weight. I look at a cookie and I gain 10 pounds. And I'm like, really? You're just looking at the cookie? Yeah, I can tell you now. You can look at a cookie and gain 10 pounds. But what HCG does, it takes this fat, because this abnormally stored fat gets locked away, and diet and exercise will not get rid of it. HCG unlocks this. And so we're not feeding a baby. Remember, we're not feeding the baby. But HCG is going to unlock that fat, and then since we're not feeding a baby, we're getting rid of it. Okay, it's literally, we're flushing it down the toilets, so you'll notice that our stools will float. Not to get gross right before dinner, but that's what's going to happen. So before our bodies can burn fat, we're going to burn carbs. That's just the way things work. So if you're talking to like an elite athlete, they'll carb up before a big race. And so the night before, they usually have like some kind of a pasta dinner, lasagna dinner. We used to work with some of the triathletes and put some of these things on. And yeah, these guys can carb load like nothing else I've ever seen. But the day before, they will protein load, because they're going to go through all of their carbs, real quick. I mean, they're going to run through that pretty quick. And then the protein is what's going to get them through the rest of the race. But before we can burn the fat, we've got to get rid of the carbs. That means we can't eat any sugar, we cannot eat any carbs, we cannot eat any fat, because we want the HCG to burn this, so we don't want to be putting more in our system. So there's very little fat on the diet, because we don't want to, and we want to burn the fat that we have. We don't want to fill those fuel tanks back up. So what we see is rapid weight loss, ½ pound to a pound a day. Reduction in those problem areas first. So the last place that you gain it will be the first place that you lose it. Okay, so if the last place you gain was your angel wings, you're going to start noticing that come down first. We'll have increased energy, improved sleep, retain muscle tone, because we're not going to lose muscle on this. Never had anybody lose muscle on this. Reduced risk of obesity and obesity-related diseases, which are just about all the diseases under the sun. We're going to reduce those food cravings, and the weight loss can be permanent as long as we don't go back to some really bad eating habits. Okay, we live in America, the land of the plenty. Okay, when y'all shop at the grocery store, when we all shop at the grocery store, right? We're supposed to shop the perimeters. How many times do you see people loading up their cart with stuff that they don't find on the perimeter? Okay, they're getting the sodas, the cookies, anything processed. Okay, all that stuff, it's not real food. Okay, so we'll have Elise come up and run us through the diets.
Is that a good noise? Hoping so. I'm Elise. I'm one of the nurse practitioners. I work half-time here and half-time in Las Colinas, so I do the diet in both, depending on what's more convenient for you. So just a little encouraging before and after. I mean, our patients really do get really good weight loss with this. And again, like Will was saying, it's not all necessarily with one go. You can't expect to lose, 50, 60 pounds with one round, but you can stack them and get to where you want and then be able to keep it off. So here's just a little picture to show you what one of our patients was able to do. So there are a couple of different phases for the diet. So the pre-diet part is not really a technical phase, like phase 0, I guess we could call it. You do want to kind of get your body ready to detox all that fat that you're about to be breaking down. So some type of structured detox is usually a good idea. There's a cranberry flush protocol where we literally will go over and tell you how to use cranberry juice to help flush out your lymphatic system, because that's how you kind of get rid of all the toxins and things that your body breaks down. It clears your lymphatic vessels so the body can process the fat and get it to the liver so you can get rid of it. There's also a liver cleansing protocol, because again, that's really important in how we process all that fat you're going to be breaking down. So there's different types of meal shakes that you can do as meal replacements, and that resets the liver to process the fat more efficiently. And we sell a few, and so because you came, if you're going to end up doing this, you can get a discount on it. So here's the phases of the diet where you're going to be starting to use the cream. So phase 1 lasts the first 3 days that you're putting the cream on, like Lark was showing you, rubbing it in really good. The first 3 days you get to do something a little fun and fat load. So I'll go over each phase a little more in detail, but I just kind of want to give you a short rundown. So that phase, you really do get to load up on fats. Some people go crazy, go to Cheesecake Factory all the time, eat at McDonald's, you can do it that way. And then some people just prefer to kind of eat their normal diet, but add in some extra fat, so in a more healthy way. Phase 2 is really where the 500 calories begin. So you'll still use the cream application once in the morning, and that's when you're doing the structured 500 calorie diet. This is the phase where you'll really see all the weight loss. That lasts for 6 weeks. Like Lark was saying, they perfectly portion out the cream, so you shouldn't run out at all. Phase 3, you continue to do the 500 calories without the cream for 3 days. That's kind of where your body will start to kind of get a little hungry again. And so between phase 3 and 4, you really have to be committed, or I'm sorry, in phase 3, I should say. And then phase 4, you really transition into a more normal diet. So this is the phase where you're going to start to need a plan. So whatever you're going to transition into afterwards, if it's going to be a structured diet or just a healthy eating plan, you need to have a game plan for phase 4. So because in there you can do all your normal foods except starches like grains, potatoes, breads, things that carry a lot of carbohydrates. You can do no starches and no sugars. So, you know, your normal simple sugars like desserts, cookies, processed snacks, that kind of thing. Then phase 5, you can do all that again, very gradually adding back in starches and sugars. A lot of times I just say try to avoid the starches and the sugars as long as you can, because then that way your body won't start to crave those things again. And a lot of times it's, you know, you go an inch, take a mile, that thing, you know, however that saying goes. A lot of times when you first start to get that sugar back in your diet, you're just going to start craving more. So the fat loading phase, you include as many fats as possible during those first 3 days. So why do you do that? It helps train the HCG cream to target the fat and helps maintain your muscle mass. So it really is kind of like the priming period for the HCG cream to get used to targeting the fat. So any weight that you gain during this time will come off, I promise, and it is necessary to get all the weight loss. So don't try to skip this phase to get more weight loss. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Sometimes people will disregard it and you won't necessarily feel as good the whole time because that cream isn't targeting the fat quite as well. So this is a list of healthy fats. These are the things that you could add in just if you're sticking to a normal diet. If you're eating out, eating desserts, you're going to be getting a lot of those types of oils, but you can also do your seeds, nuts, fatty fishes, olives, avocados, your nut butters, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be eating a lot of that the first 3 days. So here's the phases again. So like I was saying, that pre-diet phase is kind of like phase 0. So here's now the structure for the diet. You don't have to count the calories individually. If you're following the structure, you're going to be getting that 500 calories per day. So breakfast is technically tea or coffee. You can drink it in any quantity, even all throughout the day. But if you're one of those that needs cream with it, you can only have 1 tablespoon of milk in 24 hours. And absolutely no sugar for the reasons Lark explained. You don't want to be giving yourself carbs to burn for energy. You want your body to be breaking down that fat for energy. So the only sweeteners you can use are the more natural sweeteners, stevia, xylitol, or erythritol. Then lunch and dinner have the same structure, but you don't want to mix vegetables or meats with one meal, and you don't want to repeat the same meat or vegetable in the same day. So for your protein serving, you get about 3.5 ounces or 100 grams of lean meat. So you can do lean beef, chicken, whitefish, lobster, crab, shrimp, and you need to weigh it when it's raw because it will get a little bit smaller when you cook it. I apologize. You get 1 vegetable, and the list is there: salad greens, tomatoes, celery, spinach, cucumbers, asparagus, cabbage, radishes, and chard. The good news is you can season with really any seasonings you want as long as they don't have calories or fat in them. And you can use onion and garlic to help things taste a little bit better. You also get 1 grissini style breadstick. They're those really long ones that you can just pretty much snap in half. They serve them at Mediterranean restaurants, Italian restaurants. So you can probably have seen them there, but you can get them at the regular grocery store. And then Melba toast, if you've ever seen that, just those small, really dry toasts. So you get 1 choice of those, and then you get 1 fruit serving: apple, handful of strawberries, or grapefruit. So the serving size for the vegetable is about 2 cups. It's really about 2 handfuls of it. Other than that, it's pretty much listed out for you. You get 1 of each thing. So these 2 things are the ones you don't mix different types of meats and you don't mix different types of vegetables in the same meal, and then you don't eat the same thing for lunch and dinner in the same day. Okay, so it is a little bit strict in that regard, but that's just what the original research showed worked best, so that's what we stick to. So dinner, again, same choice, just don't duplicate. And you can do the same style of breadstick or Melba toast every meal, and you can do the same fruit every meal. It's just you don't want to do the same vegetable or meat in the same day, okay? So you can use the juice of 1 lemon, and again, you can kind of use any kind of seasoning that you want, including vinegar. No butter, oil, or dressing. You just don't want to do any extra fats, again, because we're targeting the fat stores you already have. So you can drink tea and coffee all day. Water, mineral water is also okay, but remember only that 1 tablespoon of milk, but you can have as many of those approved sweeteners throughout the day as you want. Drink at least 2 quarts or 64 ounces of water per day. And if you absolutely need something with a little flavor, you can do the Zevia. Those are sweetened with stevia. They're diet sodas, and those are okay on the diet. But usually people use this as an opportunity to kind of kick their soda habit. So this is a really good way to do that too. So we do have a cookbook like we were talking about. Dr. Spurlock is a really good chef, and he's done the diet so many times. He's just made this cookbook. Has some really unique ways of putting things together to make them taste a lot better. It looks like it can get a little boring, so when you need inspiration, you look to the cookbook, and he has lots of really good ideas, honestly. So you do want to make sure that you have a food scale. Make sure that you weigh your protein before it's cooked so you're not cheating yourself by getting too much. A bathroom scale, I always recommend weighing yourself every single day because you want to be watching your progress. And if you're not heading in the right direction, you want to let us know so we can help you break the plateau. There's a shopping list in the back too. I don't eat fish, so I always give this to my patients and point it out because I could not tell you what kind of whitefish to buy. So there is a shopping list. And then there's also food and weight tracker sheets in the binder that you'll get that you can track your progress on. And when you write things down, write down what you're eating every day because it will keep you more accountable. So that's just science. Additional things to kind of consider: cosmetics and body lotions, body creams that are heavy oil bases, they will be targeted by the cream as well. So you really have to switch to water-based products. Coconut oil is okay, and if it's coconut oil based, that's fine. Honestly, when you look at your cosmetics, most of them nowadays are not heavy oil bases. Most of them are water-based or oil-free. So sometimes people will have issues with what they need to switch, but majority of the time people are okay. It's just maybe 1 or 2 products they have to switch out. Medications, you just can't do any fat-soluble vitamins or any medication that's prepared in oil, again, because it contains fat. You don't want the cream to target that instead. And then supplements and other prescriptions, you take them like normal. We'll go over the list of what you're taking, and I can tell you exactly what to take and what to give up during the diet. So exercise, unfortunately, you're just not going to be getting enough carbs to drive really strenuous exercise. And if you push yourself too hard on this style of diet, your body will override the cream and start breaking down your muscle for energy because it's going to get it faster that way. So no strenuous exercise. If you walk or have another light style exercise that you do routinely, you can do that. You just don't want to do anything that's very intense. So you don't want to do that because of muscle fatigue. If your muscles aren't getting enough nutrients, you can get fatigued and get dizzy. So definitely would have to stop that. Constipation is really prevented and avoided by drinking plenty of water. Most people don't have issues unless they're not doing enough water. But if it does become a problem, there's very easy ways that we can help you along. So the more you drink, the less you'll retain of water actually. So only insufficient intake will cause the swelling and retention because your body's trying to just hold on to everything because you're not giving it enough overall. So even the slightest deviation, like Lark was saying, just one little cheat meal, one little cheat night will cause you to plateau. I see it all the time when I talk to patients who've plateaued. They're like, I had that birthday party or I had that. And it's unfortunate, but it does stop your progress for, a good 4+ days. So a plateau can usually happen during the diet at some point, even if you're being really strict. Most of the time after 3 or 4 days, I see it break. It can last up to about a week. So it will correct itself usually if you just stick to the diet, but there's also B12 injection shots. We can do what's called the apple day, where you essentially just eat all apples for 24 hours. There's ways to push you out of the plateau, but most of the time it's self-limiting and it will correct itself as long as you stay strict. So the Slim Shot is one of those that you can do to get you out of the plateau, or you can do it on a weekly basis. It's a combination of B vitamins and amino acids that are designed to help support weight loss by helping you break down more fat. So those are good. They boost your energy. I've done them before. If you absolutely need it, we can do an appetite suppressant, but generally speaking, people don't have issues with appetite. Sometimes during those transition phases, you can. So we do this, but we do it pretty rarely. Just a medication to help slow down your appetite so you can stick to the plan. So personalized plan. So what we do when you come in is not only discuss the diet, but we kind of discuss your overall health. And we'll kind of discuss more in depth the hormone evaluation and candida treatment. So when we look at your hormones, we're not just focusing on, you gained weight and we can't really explain why. We want to get to the root cause and figure out, is there any hormonal imbalance that's causing you to retain more weight? So there's always an underlying cause. One of the main ones we find is low thyroid. Your thyroid is the gland that produces the thyroid hormone that causes your metabolism to be stimulated. So a lot of times we will see that's low. Hormonal imbalance could be testosterone for men. It could be adrenal hormone related. Also, for women, we commonly would think of the menopausal hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Candida can also be a factor. If you have a poor diet or poor gut health, your body can actually get an overgrowth of bad bacteria, and one of those is yeast, and so that can actually cause you to crave a lot of sugar. The good thing is that this diet in and of itself will correct that, but we can also help supplement things to get you farther along. So we do thorough interviews, good health history, physical exams. We do a lot of lab work. If you've ever had our labs done before, you know that. It's a lot of really good blood work, but it does require a few vials, so I always prep people. It's a lot of blood work that you might not get commonly in your primary care doctor's office, so it's a really in-depth look at your hormones and your overall health status. And then based on all of that, we come up with a plan just for you. So most general physicians don't do the types of hormone evaluations we do. So that's why our lab panels are a little more extensive. Some physicians will treat hormone levels being low as just a natural effect of aging, and that's not really our view on it. We want to keep you where you were when you were feeling your best. And so just because they decline as we get older doesn't mean that getting them back up isn't beneficial for how you feel and for your underlying health. So often symptoms are treated without addressing the correct source of the problem in mainstream medicine, just kind of a Band-Aid medication to fix the symptom and not getting to the cause. So healthy hormones will help lead to your ideal weight long term and in the short term sometimes. Thyroid helps increase metabolism, gives you good energy, helps you be more active, does help burn calories. Testosterone for men and women usually helps a lot with blood sugar regulation and insulin. Helps you build muscle, increases drive, activity, and exercise tolerance is a big one that I see. Estrogen and progesterone can stabilize your weight and just stabilize you as a human if you're postmenopausal. Sometimes women just, are having some fluctuations in mood, and those can really stable you out too. So a complete hormone evaluation is critical in understanding why you can't get the weight off to begin with. So the thyroid, like I was saying, it's located down there in your neck. You're not really supposed to be able to feel it, so if you can, let me check it out. It regulates your heart rate, your blood pressure, your body temperature, metabolism, and in kids helps with growth and development. So it helps get rid of cellular waste and really just helps give your cells what they need to function their best. So the thyroid is really, like I said earlier, one of the most common things that's not working optimally that causes people to retain weight or not lose weight. So this is just a little snapshot of kind of how we do things differently. If you go to a normal physician, you might get this top lab done. Sometimes they'll do a free T4, and I worked in that world, so I can tell you this from firsthand experience. And then this is the normal range right there for all these different ones. And so we don't just check these top two, we check 6 different labs that will show a good comprehensive look at what your thyroid's doing. So we don't treat just to the normal value, we treat so that you're optimal. We want to get you to the top end of functioning. So we actually use a little bit tighter ranges here to make sure that you're functioning your best. And so that's something we would go in a lot more in depth when we had your labs, and I could say, okay, well, here's where you are, you're not optimal, what can we do to fix that? So this is, a picture of what sometimes people can look like when their doctors always tell them, oh, you look fine, but they just don't feel good. And that's often when people come see us and we really can get their lives back on track. So this is often what I see actually on a daily basis, my patients, the 7 dwarves of menopause. I love them to death. So itchy, a little itchy with a B, sweaty, bloaty, psycho, forgetful, and sleepy. And so we address all of this for women, I promise. It's not too good to be true. Estrogen and progesterone are miracles. So the older you get, you do lose those hormones. It's just what our body was programmed to do. It can cause weight gain, hot flashes, mood swings, lower sex drive, depression. And so all those hormones that decline as we age, if we can boost those back up, not to an unsafe level, but to a level where you feel good and you get the protective health benefits, your life can really change for the better. So this is Will, and he can go into his story a little more when he comes up here, but he used to be a patient with Dr. Spurlock and wasn't feeling so good and now feels much better. So imbalances in these hormones make weight loss difficult. So female hormones being estrogen, progesterone, male hormones being more of the testosterone, somewhat estrogen, and then DHEA and pregnenolone are adrenal hormones that all of us make. So we always want to make sure all of that's in order. So when we treat people's hormones, we only do bioidentical, meaning if you look at them under a microscope, they are the exact same structure as what your body naturally makes. And so when we give them to your body knows what to do with them. So the risks of the negative side effects that you can hear of increasing cancers and certain diseases, they aren't there with the bioidentical hormones because our bodies recognize them. Those risks are there with the synthetic, more man-made hormones. So then bioidentical hormones can help you feel a lot better, younger, healthier, and happier. So for everyone, helps restore sex drive, energy, mood, boosts your memory, strengthens immune system. Women, they usually love their estrogen and progesterone because it helps with the hot flashes and night sweats and mood swings, vaginal dryness, better muscle mass, muscle tone. I see this in my patients on a daily basis. So what we call BHRT, or bioidentical hormone replacement, has been shown to also slow down Alzheimer's, strokes, prevent heart disease, osteoporosis, very big in women, osteoarthritis, colon cancer, and periodontal disease, or gum diseases and things like that. So one of the things that I touched on slightly is the candida. This is the other area that can often lead to extra weight gain. Usually causes a lot of sugar cravings, and we can treat that with prescription medications. There's a lot of supplements that are good for it too. And like I mentioned earlier, really just getting the sugar out of your diet will help solve this problem as well. So a lot of times just doing the diet itself will correct this. So it helps restore your gut's proper balance of good and bad bacteria, helps control the cravings, improves digestion, and also just rids the body of the harmful invaders, things that will lead to disease later on. So getting candida under control is a big part of what we do. So you can lose weight and feel great, I promise. And then will come back up.
Thank you, Elise. Let's see. So this is a picture of me with my lovely wife. And about the same time as this picture was taken, we had a Christmas picture taken where we were on this little stairway that kind of curves around and goes up to the second floor, and we send it out with our Christmas card. And a buddy of mine in California, we used to live in California for 7 years in the Bay Area, and he called me up and he said, "Will, you're fat." Men can do that with each other. They can talk that way. And he laughed and I laughed, and after we were done talking, I was thinking, that's not all that funny. and so anyway, wasn't that long later that my wife kind of nudged me and said, Henry's not really, he's not that far off the mark there, Will. You have put on a fair number of pounds. And not only that, you kind of slow down a bit. And, you're a lot more tired than you used to be. And, you're just not quite that young guy that I married that was so energetic and so enthusiastic and so driven and so motivated and, ready to climb that next mountain, And so anyway, I searched, and it took me a lot of searching, and it actually took a number of years to find somebody that would check me out in a more thorough way. And he found thyroid issues that no other doctor could find, and he found male hormone issues that no other doctor could find. He found viral issues that nobody else could find. He found out that I've had pneumonia 2 or 3 times in my life, and he said, "Nobody, you should never have that. You know, you got a compromised immune system going on there, because you shouldn't have that until you're in your 70s or 80s." And so there was a whole bunch of things going on with me, and he started picking them off one at a time, and it was life-changing. And so kind of what happened was that I started getting this stuff back, and that increase in weight, especially, you know, all these kind of things that I had going on, they started really making improvements. And this thing was interesting because, you know, that's why we talk about getting to the root cause and kind of healing you from the inside out. Because with me, I had this experience where I didn't do the HCG diet right off. He just worked on all these underlying things. In about 18 to 24 months, I shed about 40 pounds. Yeah, just by working on all the root cause inside stuff. Okay, so that was good. That was good. I was down to more like my college weight. I was feeling pretty good, and but you know, it was like, when was this? Maybe a couple years ago. My wife nudged me, and you know, and if my wife asked me, she says, "Honey, do I look fat?" My answer is, "Roseanne, I love you." Right? That's the answer. And you know, she says if she gets on the scale and it doesn't have a good answer for her, you know, my answer is, you know, "Honey, I love all your pounds and all your inches." You know, that's the answer. So, but she can come to me and she can say, "You know what, you're not fitting in those pants very well anymore." I think it's time to do the diet. You might need to do a little dieting. And so, anyway, a little while ago, we decided, you know what? We've been talking about this diet. I've had this diet program in my clinic for a while, and maybe we should do it together. So that's what we did. And so we had kind of an interesting result. And I'll tell you about me. I have the lost the 40 because that's what happened first, okay? And that was slow. And it was gradual because my body was just coming back to itself. It was coming back to a better me that had been better. But then I regained about 20 or more pounds, and that's when I decided to do the diet. So I'm going to talk about some of this other stuff that I had the second time around when I lost the 20 pounds on the Vitality diet or the HCG diet. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about, this says "and Roseanne" down here. I don't know why it's kind of sliding down here a little bit. So, but that first picture was when I was a little heavier. This is when Roseanne and I, after the, you know, when we went on a cruise together, we lost some weight, and we looked a little bit better. Okay, so so we said, okay, we're going to start the diet. We got all prepared. We got the scale. We got we got all the portions of food. We got ready, and we did a week's worth of foods set up so that we were all ready and we could just do this thing, and it would be easy for us, and it didn't cost us very much at all because the food is really very inexpensive, and the cooking of the meals is simple. We use the cookbook that we got, and we used the handbook that we got. I'm going to show you all those things. So we had a trip down to San Antonio with my daughter. She sings, and she has to go down there for high school. So we ate in restaurants, and we ate fatty food, and we ate ice cream, and we got the avocado on whatever it was, and we had the onion rings, and oh boy, we had 3 days where we just lived it up. By the third day, I didn't want any more fatty food. I was ready to be done with all that. And then on Monday morning, I looked on the scale, and I was up by another 2 pounds. And I'm thinking, okay, let's see what this HCG stuff does. So, so I was going for it. And Tuesday morning, I looked on the scale, and I was down by 2 pounds. And then Wednesday, and I did the diet. And you know, sometimes I'm kind of a big guy, and you know, I'm over 6 feet tall, and you know, but we used the recipe book, and the portions of food that we prepared filled my plate, and it seemed to fill my stomach. So I wasn't feeling hungry. And then I did it for 3 days, and then actually in the first 3 days I lost 6 pounds. And in those 3 days I was starting to think, I have friends that have done this diet and other people that I know. I mean, hundreds of people have done this diet in their clinic. And some of them, the men, have lost 50 pounds. And I was on track to lose 50 pounds, and my goal was not to lose 50 pounds. So I talked to the experts in the field right there in my office, and they said, well, what you should do is just stay on the diet, stay on the HCG, just eat a little larger portions of the foods that are in the HCG diet. So, and even with doing that, I got to my goal weight in a little over 3 weeks. So, and I probably could have lost 40 pounds if I wanted to. If I needed to lose that much weight, I could have been, you know, one of those super success stories. So, but I'll tell you that the second week I was feeling so good. I was just, you know, I wasn't hungry. I was energized. I was sleeping good. Something had switched inside of my body to where that HCG, they say that it actually has a tendency to reset that master gland up in the brain, that hypothalamus thing. And for me, it seemed to do that, so that I felt better than I'd actually felt for years. And I think it was being on a strict diet and being on that HCG. So, and drinking lots of water. So when I got to my goal weight, now I just stayed and supported my wife. I stayed on the diet and I stayed on the HCG, but I just increased the portions so that I would stay at that weight. And I kept doing it for the full 6 weeks. So, and now, so that's my story, and I got back down to my college weight. So what about Roseanne? So she had some weight and some trouble spots, and she wanted to lose that. And so she didn't lose 6 pounds in the first week, or in the first 3 days, okay? But with her, every day it was pretty consistent, 1/2 pound to 1 pound a day. Very consistent. And I will tell you that she was one of these people that somewhere between the 3rd and the 4th week, she did hit a plateau. And she went for like 2 days, or maybe it was 3, and she started to get a little discouraged, okay? And so we called the office, and I think she did an apple day, and I brought her home a Slim shot, and I gave her the shot. I know how to do that, so I can do that. So, and the next day, she was losing that weight again. So, and actually she got down to her college weight as well. So it was pretty amazing. And I think getting to the root cause is what really makes the difference on this diet. And then the motivating thing about it is it an easy diet? The easiness about it is that you're done in 6 weeks. And the easiness about it is that when you get on that scale every morning and you can see 1/2 pound, you can see 8/10 of a pound, you can see sometimes even a full pound has come off, it's motivating. You can say, wow, I can do this another day, I can do this another week, I'm going to finish this diet, I'm going to hit my goal. And you do it. So, and then at the end of the diet, you know, you're not going to go out and binge, but you reward yourself, you know, and, you know, whatever that reward is for you, I think it's a good thing to have something to look forward to. And maybe it's, you know, buying that dress that you've been wanting to buy, or getting into the skinny jeans, or going back out to some nice restaurant, and you don't get all the ice cream or everything else, everything, but you have a real nice meal that you get to look forward to, whatever it is. So, but I think this diet is really an amazing tool to get quickly down to where you want to be, and then keep following what you learned in the diet to be able to stay there. So that's my story, and that's my wife's story, and I think we had success, and it's great. Now, back to take off my patient's hat and put on my my Renewed Vitality. I'm the business director. I'll put that hat back on. So we're going to develop the best diet program for you. This is very personalized. We take the guesswork out of losing weight, and yeah, it's, like I say, safe and effective, but I really couldn't believe how good I felt on the diet. I wanted to feel that good all the time. So so what do you get? Well, and we have people that, in a lot of these seminars that we do, the room is actually full to capacity, and we have patients that have already been there and gotten their hormones balanced, and we have people that are brand new to Renewed Vitality, and so either way, it all works. So if you're brand new to this, then main difference is you get 2 visits with the nurse practitioner, okay? Because we're going to work on your hormones, we're going to work on your thyroid, we're going to work on your intestinal tract, we're going to look at you and finding out what's going on specifically with you, and get to those underlying causes. So, and we're going to run a full set of labs on you, probably more than you've ever had done in your life, okay? And it's amazing what you'll learn when you do that. Then there is a weight loss handbook, and basically it's all, if you pardon the non-intended pun here, it's all cookbooked out for you, okay? It's, all the meals, all the, everything you need to know, everything you need to avoid, questions about, well, what about this oil? What about makeup? What about, all these things? It's all written down for you here. So, and you can actually record, what you're eating and what you're doing on a daily basis. And then this is the handy dandy cookbook. And I know people that have done the diet more than once, and those that say they did it without the cookbook, it got pretty boring just eating, chicken and beef and, whitefish and shrimp. And there's more things than you can eat with that. And then they did it with the cookbook, and every meal was different, and every meal was, delicious, and every meal was also much more filling. And so I highly recommend this as well. And so that's those things. Let's see. And there are cooking classes twice a month. It's kind of like a support group, because you meet people that have done the diet, or that are doing the diet, that have transitioned off the diet, that may want to be doing the diet again, and continuing on. And the coaching, I've talked about that already, but you just call up, if whatever issue you've got, we'll try to help you with that. Okay. So, and most people will just do swimmingly on the diet, but if you have an issue, just let us know, and we'll help you with that. And then you do well on this. We've had people say, "Oh, I want to lose 50 pounds," and maybe the first time they're going to lose 30, and the second time they're going to lose 20. That's all good. So you don't have to buy the package again. We'll just give you a writer's prescription for you, and you buy the cream from Abrams Rural Pharmacy again. Okay. What it doesn't include, Texas doesn't allow us to dispense medications. The cream is $108. You can buy that from Abrams Rural Pharmacy, and we write you this prescription for do that, and that's what Elise does. Okay. The lab fees, we will help you a lot with lab fees. So how that works is if you've got great insurance and they're going to pay 80, 90, or 100% of your labs, then you run that through your insurance. If they're not going to pay at that level, then we have a discount program that is great. And we can keep your lab costs down to somewhere, for these first labs, it should be, less than $400, maybe even closer to $300. Okay, and again, it's an individual thing. It depends on what the nurse practitioner, in this case Elise, finds in your initial evaluation. Okay, because she's going to find out what your health history has been, your health goals, your symptoms, all those things, and do a physical exam also on you before she writes your labs. So, and then we've talked about these little slim shots, and they also are something that it's inexpensive. It's $20, but it's a way to kind of jumpstart yourself, especially if you've hit up a little plateau. Okay, so now many, if not most, hormone places will charge you $8.99 for the first 2 visits without a weight loss program. Okay, you get the first 2 hormone visits and the weight loss program for $8.99 with Renewed Vitality. So we will do the whole thyroid evaluation, the whole hormone evaluation. We will test virtually every hormone that can be tested and treated that's associated with your symptoms, as well as, and we'll spend half the visit on that, as well as the other half of your visit on your weight loss. And that's the first visit. So, and then the second visit, then you go get your labs done. You can start the diet program that day if you want to. Okay, you can run down to Abrams Pharmacy. You can get the cream, and there it is right there. And because most people are so anxious to start it, they can do it that day if they want to. And because you were here tonight, if you go ahead and sign up right away, you get a $100 discount. So it's $7.99. So that in and of itself is a pretty good deal. Actually, I know places that just for this, without the weight loss, charge thousands of dollars. So we found that couples often want to do this. And we've even had some threesomes that want to do it. So if 2 sign up together, we will discount this another $100 for 2 of you to do it together. So it's $6.99 times 2 for the 2 of you. So, but that's really a value because again, you're getting all of this medicine and you're getting what comes out with the 4 1-hour visits. Okay, but it's group visits. It's done together. There is financing available at 0 interest if you pay it back in 6 months. And then how much you really spend on the diet depends on you, because we don't code this. You can submit this to your insurance, and we don't code it as weight loss. So we're going to code it as all those underlying causes. So we've had people that have actually submitted this to their insurance, and they paid maybe 60%, maybe more. And then you think, well, all these foods that I'm not eating, and I'm not going to Starbucks anymore every morning, so I'm reducing my cost of food fairly significantly, and I have pretty good insurance, so they're paying my lab bill. So if you put all that together, it really reduces the total cost of the program significantly. If you're a current patient, that means that you're already on track with your hormones, your thyroid, and all those things. So then all we do is we just need 1 visit with you, and assuming that you've kept up with your visits and you're not, it hasn't gone over a year without you coming in, and then we just do everything with 1 visit. We just focus on the weight loss, but you still get a refill if you need to get a refill after a year. Okay. And again, that's up to you. And the things that it doesn't include still are still the same now. And So we discount it from, so standard for our patients is $449, which is a little above what they pay for a regular visit. A regular visit with a lease would cost $339 for the first visit, and all subsequent visits are $309. Okay, so so you get it discounted at $50. So really, you're really not paying that much more for the diet program. And if you had a group of 2 discount, it really goes down as well. Same things here. If you want to share your experience, and if you are bold enough to share a before and after photo, and you sign something that says we can share it, or you'll be able to share it, or you even share it yourself on Facebook, or you say we can share it, we can put it on our Facebook or our website, then we'll give you a couple of slim shots, or we'll give you $40 that you can use on any product or service that we have. So, and we've had a fair number of people that do this, and because they've had a great experience. The detox program, this is the liver cleanse, and if you can do this before, it is a good thing to do. We didn't, at least I don't know how much you went into detail on this, but this is the Ultra Clear Renew from Metagenics. It's a great liver cleanse, and I don't remember getting the prices exactly on this. I think it's like $96 or something, or $98, something like that. But when we give it to you for half price, if you buy the program right away, then it's a little less than $50. Okay, so that's and this is great because if you're gonna push your liver to process all that fat and metabolize all that fat, and you want it, even at 20 pounds, you're going to push your liver fairly hard. So this is a good thing to do. If you don't do it before, it's a good thing to do afterwards. Yes. So, and the cranberry flush, actually, we don't make any money on this. We just tell you to go to Central Market or Whole Foods, buy the unsweetened and good quality the natural cranberry juice concentrate. Mix it with 8 ounces with 56 ounces of water, and then you drink this mixture for 2 weeks. So you drink it all in 2 weeks, and that flushes out your lymphatic system. And that's another system that's going to help be processing the fat. So, and this is not very expensive really at all either. Yeah, so, and that is about that. Questions? You've got 3 of us in the room here that are happy to answer your questions tonight. And, if you're ready to go ahead and sign up, we can have them leave the computers on here. We can make an appointment and get you set up. And we'll...
So with the lab work and the hormone testing, and that's done by checking the blood, do y'all ever recommend the saliva testing as well, or ever double check the results for that?
Yeah, blood and saliva are basically 2 sides of the same coin. And as long as you know how to read the blood, and these guys know how to read that blood work, then you're golden.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're absolutely golden. Just for giggles, my last OB-GYN visit, I did my blood with him, and then went ahead and did my salivary test. It was very interesting to see how they correlate. But yeah, it's like I said, 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah. So, and we have our own lab here. It's actually through Quest Diagnostics, which is a good partner of ours, and most insurance companies will use Quest Diagnostics as well. So, and like I say, insurance companies have gradually actually been decreasing benefits, and probably everybody here knows that. And so we're happy to work with you on an individual basis, and so that we can limit the costs, because some people will get a explanation of benefits from their insurance company and they'll get sticker shock because it'll say, several $1,000s. And we know how to bound that so that it's something very reasonable rather than something that makes you want to be, very afraid. Yeah. Ask me.
Let's talk about the insurance, and for those of us that are stuck with Medicare and Medicare or Medigap type policy, so what's been your experience with how much of this is covered by insurance?
So the good news is that Medicare will typically cover the lab work. That's the good news. Yes. And the lab work is much more, as far as dollars go, than the office visit. Medicare will not cover the office visit. And we, because of the way Medicare works and because of the way we work, where we spend a lot of time with our patients, these 2 visits that you're going to have are going to end up being somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour long, each of the 2 visits. So Medicare sort of just can't comprehend that a doctor would spend so much time with you, a provider would. So they don't even have a way to do that or a way to reimburse for that. So they forced us to basically opt out of Medicare for the office visit. Not for the labs, but for the office visit. So our patients, Medicare patients, sign a release saying that they will not submit to Medicare. So that $7.99, it's really not, you can't submit that to Medicare. So, or if you were to do it together, the $6.99, you couldn't submit that to Medicare. That would be on your own, okay? Now, I know some people have told me that they have a supplemental and that they are able to get some things through on their supplemental. But that's, I have to be honest with you, that's relatively rare, what I see. Yeah. So the good news is on the labs, they'll probably take care of it, the other portion of it. But the other side of it is that you're getting really a tremendous value. I mean, you can call around and check, but you're not going to find somebody that's going to do this level of quality of work, both for the hormones, the thyroid, and everything else that we do. And we can show you a list of everything that we check and do the weight loss program for this.
Well, I think the pricing is very fair. And we spend a lot more for a lot less.
Oh, I've heard so many stories. People have told me, oh, I just spent $5,000 and I'm still sick. And I wish you'd come here first. And I can't get you your $5,000 back, but I think we can help you get well. Yeah. So the reason I like this is because I like seeing happy people. I like seeing people that are excited about, their health. So, and, some people call on the phone and some people just want to start by getting their hormones right and getting their life back that way. And then, it's very frequently that they get that way. And then the classic thing is, well, I feel so much better now, I want to look better. Other people say, I want it all right now. And so they do this kind of a program right away from the start.
I'm assuming this is an alcohol-free diet.
6 weeks.
It's a lifetime.
6 weeks. So, if you were losing 5 pounds a month, it would take you a lot longer to get there.
Right.
Yeah, so just think of it, I'm going to do this for 6 weeks, and you're going to look on that scale, and you're going to smile every day at that scale. Yeah. But I can't do anything about the alcohol.
Another question. You said coconut oil is okay. Is MCT, since it's kind of similar to coconut oil, would that be?
Yeah, because we're kind of getting into ketosis. And so, you know, the ketogenic diet is really big right now. And the coconut oil, MCT oils, really help to push that. And so we're going back into a phase where we're increasing the protein, we're decreasing the carbs, and then we'll put the magic of the HCG on top of it. And yeah, it's just, yeah, it helps push it along a little bit.
And, you know, some people here are probably used to drinking soft drinks. Anybody here drink soft drinks? Diet Coke.
We
Um,
tried the stuff you get at Whole Foods.
okay. The Zevia.
Zevia.
Yeah, there's at least what, 3 or 4 different companies. You know, the one that we use a lot here is the Zevia that you can get at, I think you can even get it at Kroger, but you can get it at Whole Foods, Central Market, a lot of different places. And you know, you can usually find a flavor of that you kind of like if you want a carbonated drink. So.
There is a Kavita drink. It's a lemon cayenne, and it's really very delicious. Hardly any carbs. So
It's a
it's that
lemon.
kombucha. It's Kevita at the health food stores in the refrigerated section, and I don't know how it can taste so good. And it's in a glass bottle, but it definitely tastes like soda. I'm trying to think, maybe 1 gram of carb, and how it can be that tasty. It might be have a little stevia.
I'll have to leave the 1 gram of carb for a discussion between you and Elise. Because, you know, it's kind of interesting. You would think that, you know, there's just certain vegetables, and there's not that many vegetables that you can eat. And there's only how many fruits? 3 or 4? Okay. So you would think, well, why can't I eat, you know, no. Yeah, a rutabaga. I don't know. That's pretty, yeah. But I mean, there's standard things. What, can you eat green beans on the diet?
Green beans are higher in sugar.
Yeah, so you can't eat green beans. So you'd think, what would be wrong with a green bean? That would be, and a fresh green bean. Why couldn't they eat a fresh green bean? But you can't eat a fresh green bean.
When Dr.
So-
Shields was doing this research, he played around with the diet and figured out what foods would actually work, and then what was, you know, easy for his people to get. And that's where he came up with a list, and it works. We can get all these foods. And, you know, I don't eat a whole lot of chard. I've tried chard, I like it. So there's a new food for me. And I'm telling you, the cooking classes, okay, Dr. Spurlock has gotten me to eat foods I never thought I would eat. And I'm a pretty meat and taters kind of person. But,
I
yeah.
knew I liked you for some reason.
I'm telling you, we're getting along great. So yeah, check out the cooking classes, because they're fun. I mean, so he'll take these foods and use like your Melba toast, and you crunch it up and use it as breading for your chicken. Okay, I'm not that creative. I have my Melba toast, I have my chicken, right? But he makes it a lot of fun.
Is there gluten-free Melba toast?
There are gluten-free Melba toast and the grissy breadstick type things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's gluten-free options that you can substitute for those 2 things as well. So, and yes, we're really big on gluten-free here. Very big. So, for a variety of reasons. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, a lot of people have questions about makeup. And you know, so, and you know, there's certain things that you can use, and then there's certain things that you don't use. And mostly if it's oil-based makeup, you don't use that, because oil goes right through your skin, and it confuses the HCG. You know, and I didn't understand about the 3 days, the fat loading days, until it was explained to me that those 3 days you're taking the HCG and you're training the HCG. that HCG is surrounded by a lot of fat, and it's going after the fat and it's processing the fat, and it's just having this grand old time processing the fat. And then after the third day, you take away all that fat, and it says, where's the fat? I'm used to processing the fat. There's no fat. And so what does it do? It goes after my fat, and it starts processing that fat. Yeah. That's the little trick. And the people that have the hardest time on this diet are the people that don't do the 3 loading days, or really don't, or do a little bit of it but not enough. Yeah. People that do the best, they have a grand time on the 3 loading days. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're ready, I'll be at the computer over here. If you want to go ahead and sign up, that'll be great. And we'll go ahead and get that taken care of.